Okay, so let's just settle into our meditation posture. The feet, if you are sitting in a chair and the legs are down, make sure they're in a parallel position, flat on the floor, so that your legs aren't kind of hanging, because that just changes the position of the spine. And if you're sitting on the floor or in a cross-legged position, just make sure you're comfortable. Hands in the meditation mudra, the right hand nestled in the left with the thumbs touching. And just relax your elbows so you're not kind of tight up against the side of your body. Just relax. Make sure your sacrum is straight, not kind of tip too far back or too far forward. Shoulders over the hips. So let's just imagine that our spine is made of a string of pearls of light. And this stretch from our coccyx all the way up through to the crown of our head. You can imagine there's somebody there above your crown, very gently lengthening you, just very gently lengthening the spine. And the head is slightly tipped forward, the eyes are down. If they were open, you'd be looking at a spot in front of you about 2 inches ahead. The tip of the tongue and the roof of the mouth. And you can have the lips slightly apart, although we'll be breathing in through our nose. So let's just bring our attention to the crown of the head. Just relax the scalp and the forehead, the eyes, the cheeks, and the mouth, the jaw. And relax the temples and the ears, and the back of the head, the neck and the shoulders, the back. Relax your throat and belly, arms, legs, hands, hands and fingers, legs and feet and toes. And then just check you haven't slumped. So you're kind of nice and relaxed, yet very, very well positioned. Just bring the mind to the breath. Just you may notice the sensation of the slightly cooler air coming in through the nostrils as you're breathing in, and slightly warmer air as you're breathing out. If you can't necessarily feel this, it doesn't matter. Just notice the air coming in and going out. So we'll just do a motivation for this evening, just to remind ourselves there's no negativity that we can't purify. So we're here to purify these negative seeds that we've planted through all the harm we've done, negative actions we've done through our delusions. So we want to get rid of these so we can be benefit to others, so we can get rid of all the obstacles so we can become enlightened for the benefit of others. So just before we start, just bring the mind to the breath. And if there's any sounds in your environment, try not to have the mind go off and investigate. Through either attachment or aversion. It's enough to know that those sounds are there. Just allow them to be there. As your thoughts are rising and falling, try not to follow a story or make up a story. Just allow the thoughts to come and go. So the first of the 4 opponent powers in this Vajrasattva practice is the power of regret. So regret from the depths of our heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, in all our past lives. So we can think of a specific action of your body and speech. Maybe something happened today. And then generally just any harm you may have done to others. Things that you don't remember. And again, just to remind ourselves, the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, past actions. So when we harm others, we are necessarily going to experience some kind of suffering in the future. And we don't know when this suffering is going to ripen either. It makes it a little bit insecure for us. And we know from our current obstacles that we don't need any more. We don't want to invite any more. So the logic, therefore, is to remove the karmic seeds before they manifest as suffering in our life. So think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. So we just also regret all the delusions, the anger and the attachment and the rest, which are actually the cause of why we harm others. So what can I do about this? Whom can I turn to? And here we come to the power of reliance. So we rely on, we turn to Buddha Vajrasattva, the doctor. You can see him as a doctor. He has the methods that we can use to purify. It's not that we need Buddha Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So visualize Guru Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And you can also think of him as your guru, manifesting in this way for your benefit. So you may have a guru who's female. And it doesn't necessarily have to be male guru, but manifesting in this form for your benefit for the purpose of this meditation. So you imagine Vajrasattva is made of this blissful, radiant white light, very powerful, compassionate. And if you're not necessarily a visualizer, but you find it difficult to see these kind of forms that we're talking about, these Buddhas, you can just imagine, get a feeling of the sense of the energy, just this kind of white, purifying, healing, blissful, loving energy of the crown of your head, who has the methods to heal us. So sitting cross-legged on a lotus, this is radiant, beautiful face. He's got these lotus-like eyes, and they're full of love and compassion for us. He has his sweet red mouth, and his hair is held back in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right, and the left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And then being crossed represents a union of these two, symbolizing enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. So just say a little prayer of refuge. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And so the second section of this little section is compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So in this case, first of all, the beings that we have harmed and those who have harmed us. So think of, in particular, maybe someone you've harmed recently. And they may not even know that you've harmed them. You may have said something to someone that's changed the course of their life, or changed an opportunity that may have been given at work. So we have to be very careful with our speech. So we develop compassion for the people we've harmed, and then perhaps someone who's harmed you, have compassion for them, because they are going to suffer as a result of the harm that they have done to you. So we make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings. So you think, I must purify for their sake. So next we come to the power of the remedy. And this is actually the main practice. This is where we heal ourselves. So first is the purification of the body. And Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends this powerful white nectar from his heart, arcs around and enters us through the crown of our head. And pours into filling you completely. As it pours in, fills you up and forces out through the lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky, kind of liquidy smoke. And this kind of pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, and you feel completely purified as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebowa, Sutokaya Mebowa, Supokaya Mebowa, Anarakta Mebowa, Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebowa, Sutokaya Mebowa, Supokaya Mebowa, Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. And be so delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than be of benefit to others with your body from now on. Like, how amazing. Incredible. Now, the purification of your speech. So again, Guru Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And this time it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativities of your speech. And it just kind of overflows and disappears into space. Not one atom left. So you just imagine all this junky stuff, all your kind of junky speech, just kind of disappearing out of the top of the upper orifices of the body, disappearing into space, not one atom left. And so you can imagine all the gossip and harsh speech, useless speech, lying, talking badly about others behind their backs. All this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And just imagine that it's not possible that you could do anything other than be of benefit to others with your speech. So every time someone hears the sweet sounds of your voice, it's of benefit to them. Just imagine how it would be if your voice was one that could heal people just by hearing. It's something to look forward to. The purification of the mind, Guru Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light this time from his heart chakra. You can imagine this light arcing around and entering your crown and fills your entire being. So there's the usual analogy as you, the same way that you walk into a dark room and you switch on a light. The minute the light from Guru Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart, all the darkness of your mind, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind is instantly dispelled. So all the attachment and the neediness, the depression, the anxiety, your anger, disappointment, jealousy, bitterness, wishing to harm others, completely dispelled. Not one atom left. As you recite the mantra, Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mebiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dira meboa sutokaya meboa supakaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dira meboa sutokaya meboa supakaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dina meboa sutokaya meboa supakaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dina meboa sutokaya meboa supakaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dira meboa sutokaya meboa supakaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified, gone. And think there is no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom, compassion and bliss. So next and finally, the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So this time, imagine the Guru Vajrasattva sends light and nectar. So you can either imagine just light and nectar pouring into you, or you can imagine the previous 3 visualizations and doing them simultaneously or one after the other, whichever works for you. Probably the simplest thing to do, though, is just imagine light and nectar pouring into you and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dira meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dira meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dira meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dira meboa sutokaya meboa supakaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dira meboa sutokaya meboa supakaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sutame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dina mebawa sutokaya mebawa supakaya mebawa anarakta mebawa savasidi mebe yata savakama sutame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 bhagavan savatata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dira mebawa, sutokaya mebawa, supakaya mebawa, anarakta mebawa, sawasidi membeyata sawakama sutame, sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 bhagavan, sawatata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya sattva ahum pe. Now feel completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream, even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So next is the power of resolve, the fourth step of this purification process, and such a crucial one. This determination to not harm with our body, speech, and mind again. So without this determination, we're going to keep following the same old habits, the same old patterns. And it's not that we're never going to be able to do, we're never going to do something again. It's not like a New Year's resolution. We're going to take this little by little. You just chip away at our negativities slowly, little bit by little bit. And one day you'll notice you're not doing that quite so much anymore. And you can just rejoice. It's a very slow process. Our habits are really hard to break. And we just kind of fall back into the same old groove over and over again. But it just takes time. And we have to decide. We just decide, I'm going to work on this. And if you feel brave enough, I'm just not going to do this again, and just try. But maybe for most of us, it's just going to be a matter of 5 minutes or 1 hour, or while we're asleep at night, that we're going to refrain from doing things. So we just decide now on something we're going to work on between now and tomorrow. And it's this determination that gives us the strength to change this decision that we make to not harm others and also ourselves. So to conclude, Guru Vajrasattva is delighted with us. So wanting to merge with your mind, he melts into light, just kind of dissolves in through the crown of your head, just kind of merges with you. And we think, my Guru's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing, union, oneness. LAMA YESHE calls it union, oneness. And next, Lama Zopa Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness with the 3 circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a little while. So you can think of all phenomena as being empty, not existing from their own side. You can think of things as being dependent arisings. You can just imagine how you might see something differently to a dog or a cat or a bird based on the way your body is structured, constructed. The dog sees color differently than we see color. And a colorblind person sees things differently than we see them. So then it leads us to think, well, how do things actually really exist? So for the moment, it's just enough to know perhaps things don't exist the way we think they do. It starts to chip away at our concrete view. So, no, Mary, I think I'm just going to do a quick dedication prayer and then we can do the long life prayers. So dedicate all the merit, the positive energy that we have created this evening by doing this purification to all living beings. And we think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. Okay. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Palam Sopa Rinpoche, you uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjana's victorious doctrine, who massively accomplishes magnificent prayers, honoring the three jewels, savor of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. And then Vageshe Shara, beloved teacher, leading your students towards wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. And thank you so very much, everyone. Always so lovely to see this little group. Now we're all purified. We can go to bed. Oh, and there's Mary. Hi, the other Mary. Mary number 1 or 2. I don't know which one. She's 1 or she 2? Are you 2? You're 1. You're 2. Anyway, lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining. And now we're all purified. It's like kind of having, I think Venerable Rene, do you people know Venerable Rene? You know, the Swiss monk? Oh, he's an amazing meditator. He's extraordinary. Anyway, he sort of says doing the Vajrasattva practice is like having a shower. So it's kind of also like we're just kind of having a shower. In fact, I thought the other day it might be, how about doing Vajrasattva practice in the shower? Then you can imagine the light and the nectar. The water can be the light and the nectar. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe it's not very holy to do Vajrasattva in the shower. But I mean, if you're busy and you're rushed, it's probably better than nothing. Anyway, I think I'm tired. Okay. Lots of love, everybody, and sleep well. You can go to bed now with a happy mind and have sweet dreams. And I look forward to seeing you again on Friday. Some of you, all of you, whatever. Okay. Lots of love, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Good night. Good night.
Thank